My name is Siphosethu, meaning our gift. My surname is Dyonasi. I was born and bred in Khayelitsha in a location called Site B. The kind of area I was brought up in is the kind of area whereby it's normal to see people carrying knives and guns and robbing other people, and it's normal to see criminal activities happening, immoral activities happening. Not that there are people who are not doing positive things. The influence I got on the street as a kid was that most of the time, me and my friends, we used to hang on corners. So as we used to hang on corners, we used to give appraisal to people who were hijacking cars, people who were raping, people who were coming in and out of jail. So I grew up in that tradition of praising and hailing people who were criminal activities. I remember at my household we have two uncles. My two uncles, they used to carry guns and knives. So they used to put these guns and knives like carelessly. And when they used to put them carelessly, I as a kid, I used to take those weapons out to the other kids and just to show what I've got. And my friends were so excited that yeah, you've got a real gun. Let's go and rob. So that was the first time I began to be more involved and to be serious in criminal activities. I remember there was a time me and my friends, we went to the train station to rob people who were coming from work, like robbing their bags and their earrings and their phones. So that's how it started. I was 16. I was at the beginning of high school. I was doing grade 8 when it all began. During the weekends, I used to enjoy going to poetry sessions and open mic sessions and just to engage and listen to other people and explore talents and the beauty of creativity. But at that time, this pressure of friends and following that tradition of wrongdoing, it kept following me up to the point that I ended up not going to the open mic sessions and the poetry sections and doing all those activities of robbing and all those crimes. From the beginning, it was me and my friends from my street. But as time went by, a lot of streets started to engage, started to join. And as time went by, we grew now. So as we grew in numbers, we started to attack other territories. We started to attack other territories. So the number we were at that time, I believe we were about 80. And we called ourselves 70 boys. The name came with a friend of ours just because of the population, the number of us. Like when we walk on the street, we used to fill up the street. So he came out with that number that we are 70 boys. Most of the times when we walk on the street, we are being given appraisal by the other people, because most people they fear you. They give you that respect, they give you that honor just because of that title and that position of you being a gangster. And you don't struggle to get ladies. Whenever you walk into a tavern or a club, you are being given respect. If I just walk into a club, someone can just give me a beer. They just give me that pleasure. They give me that honor. So at that time, it was good for me because I felt like I was the kingpin, I was the boss, I was ruling the world. What I abused the most was alcohol. I used to drink a lot. A lot of people they knew that I was in a confused state. At that time, I was in myself. At that time, I wasn't thinking straight. They knew that the courage that I had, the bravery that I had, it was not a normal way of behaving as a human. It was chemical substances that resulted to all that influence that I had. So a lot of people, they feared me because of the things that I used to smoke at that time, and the like the drinking. The drinking problem and the people I was around with, because the people I was around with were dangerous people. they just revealing a gun or a knife like in front of the kids in daylight. Like it was people who didn't fear or care. So even me myself, I had that mentality of not caring if what people think about me. So that's what people feared the most about me. Whenever I used to drink, I used to have that courage of having to do something and not have that fear or that doubt. If I want to go and rob someone, even if someone that I know in my community, I would go and rob. If me and my peers, we wanna gang rape someone, we would gang rape someone, even though we know that. All I can say is alcohol gave me a lot of courage to do things and not to fear. There were a lot of things we did. It was not only robbing people. We were also doing rapes. We were also going around shopping centers and robbing shop rights, and we were doing a lot of things. It was not only robbing and killing and raping, but a lot more. But it was evening, I still remember. When we entered the A section, we saw two guys standing on the corner, and the others ran immediately when they started to see us. And when the two others, they saw us, they didn't run because they didn't think that we were after them. And we grabbed them, we killed them, we chopped them, we butchered them. The other guy's head was chopped off. His name was Andile. Two guys were killed there. It was Andile and Stelo. So Andile's head was chopped off and the other guy was chopped into pieces. And in that night, the police came into our houses. So that's how it happened. It was double murder because of territorial wars. I spent 9 months in Pollsmoor prison. Being in Pollsmoor prison, it was a terrifying experience, especially from the beginning when I started to arrive there. Being in jail, it was like a torturing chamber, because in jail I had no rights, I had no authority, I had no voice. I felt like I was like an animal that was caged, an animal that was in captivity. When I came out of jail, I was still confused because I was still traumatized by the thing that happened in the past, killing people. Regret was the first feeling. There were days of sadness and sorrow and tears on my eyes. But I kept telling myself that I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna go back there. There's a way forward. At the end of the tunnel, there's a light. I kept asking myself that what is it that I really want in life? How can I change my life for the better? Am I willing to sacrifice my life again, to commit myself to that religion of killing people and being a gangster? Or should I look for the things that could change my life for the better? I started now to partake in arts activities. That's where I ended up being part of a shack theater called Makukhanye Arts Room. At Makukhanye Arts Room, I work as an admin. I work as a mentor. I work as a facilitator. From Monday to Friday, from 8 a.m. in the morning up until 6 p.m. in the evening, there are dramatic presentations and rehearsals and practices of different artists that are happening here. Theater, for instance, drama, poetry, music, and other stuff. Even people who are drawing, they come here to practice their arts. So we always try by all means to give each other some slots and space so that we can work well together. Yeah, there are program for kids here. From Monday to Friday, from 3:30 to 6:30, the children, they come here, they bring their homeworks, they bring their books, their learning programs. We have a library side, that side, where we tutor the children, we help them with their subjects and their learnings at school. This kind of space is very important to have in Khayelitsha because we are facing a pollution around. The kids' minds are polluted by the things that are happening around. So we are trying to prevent the children from seeing these things and from being inspired and motivated by these things. So yeah, this is where we inform them. This is where we educate them. This is where we uplift and inform and motivate and inspire them. so that they can grow up to be better people when they are old and matured. Me, I'm that kind of person who regard himself as a lyricist. I love to write the most. My pen is my best friend. Whenever there's something bothering me, whenever even I'm feeling good or bad or sad or happy or unhappy, I always take my pen and write something down and write my feelings down. Being a poet that I am, I believe that my voice matters to the world. That's all I can say. I see myself as a messenger. I see myself as a voice. Okay, to be honest with you, when I grew up as a child, there were people who were life coaches around me, were mentors around me, but I was not attentive to them because I saw them as people who are backward. People who didn't understand what I thought I understood at that time. So what I'm doing now in this daytime is to try to convince the youngsters that there are positive parts that oneself may commit to in life, instead of committing themselves to those gangs, to those lives that could end could lead them to imprisonment. So I am very vocal about those kind of things that could help people to grow for the better. If you stand in the corner and carry a gun and a knife and wait for things to happen for you, then that's the choice you are making as a person. But if you decide that if you wake up in the morning, you are doing something for a change, you are doing something like for yourself without having to harass people, like in general, like go and sweep your yard, go to the nearest center, ask for help and get some knowledge and some information, or go to some library and get some skills, then those are the things that could develop and help you for the better. So those are the things that I'm voicing out to the youth. They should be attentive that if you make a decision now, look where it will take you into the near future. For me to share my past, it liberates the others, even though it liberates me as well. So for me, it's always good to share my story, because someone out there will be revived and changed because of my story. Someone out there will get some lessons in my story. Someone out there will learn something in my story. Because for me not to share the story, then it will haunt me. Then it will leave me like miserable and depressed and having to stress because of I'm not expressing and taking this thing out. But the more I express and take it out, the more I feel liberated and free. There are people who still doubt me, even though there are people who have accepted the new being that I am. For instance, what made the adults in my neighborhood to accept that, okay, now I'm a changed person? It is because of they see the relationship I have with the younger kids, especially at the Makukhanye Arts Room. Most of the time there I deal with 40 children. So to be around children, it's something else. When children love to be around you, it's something else. In the near future, I see myself owning an academy of my own, whereby there will be young boys and girls living in there with educational programs, with a lot of adventurous programs happening in there, whereby I can teach the children about the importance of self-awareness, self-realization, like things that are not being taught at school, things that are not being taught from church, things that are not being taught from our household or from our homes. Khayelitsha now is a place I can call home, because of not only negative things that are taking place in Khayelitsha, there are a lot more activities, positive activities that are happening that make me like to have love of Khayelitsha. I see development in Khayelitsha. I see change in Khayelitsha. I see people now being more involved in things that are transforming and advancing other people's lives. I see institutions and facilities and expanding. I see Khayelitsha as a place I can call home. That's all I can say.